All right, my friends, this is another STEAM challenge that you can choose to do this week. You may have a lot of cardboard tubes lying around your house, and if you do, this is a really fun way to repurpose the tubes and to build with them. A lot of you are probably familiar with building really tall towers with blocks that you may have or with Legos, and this is just another fun material that you can experiment with to kind of see how tall of a building you can make with these. So I'm going to show you a couple strategies other than just stacking these, which you could, but I'm going to show you a couple different things that you can do that will help you sort of join the pieces together as you create this. These are the toilet paper tubes, but you can also take the paper towel tubes, and this is really long, but you could cut them down into smaller sections. So on this you can kind of see where there's like a glue line here, and so it makes it kind of easy. So what you can do is you can take your scissors and kind of, I'm just folding the tube kind of in half a little bit and then cutting along that line and then kind of squishing it back out. So now I have like a smaller piece. So it's fun to kind of cut them in different, into different lengths. So like there we have, and you can even do it with some of the toilet paper tubes. Can kind of, and now I have some smaller pieces here, and maybe I'll do it one more time here. So what you want to do is you want to get a fairly large collection of these, maybe even more than I have here. And then the other thing you want to have is a cardboard base, either from a cereal box or a cracker box or a shipping box. And depending on how big or tall you want to make your structure will depend on how big or the cardboard piece is. And if you remember from the video, I don't know if you remember the fun fact, but the taller a building is, the wider the base usually needs to be, or that foundation that really holds it. So, so you might want, depending on how tall you want to go, you might want to have a bigger base. But what you can do in order to join these together, we're going to cut some little slits into the tubes, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So first, what you want to do is you want to take your tube and just kind of squeeze it in half a little bit, and you want to squeeze those ends, and then you want to do it again the other way. You want to line up those two and then squeeze it like that. So now you have 1, 2, like 4 little folds, and what those little folds will do is those kind of tell you where. So I see there's a little fold right here. So I'm going to cut a little notch. And what that means is I'm going to cut down with my scissor, and then I'm going to cut down like really close to it, and then kind of just sort of slide my scissor over, and then I can just kind of pull that out. So see, now I have a little notch there. Now I'm going to rotate around, and oops, here's my next little fold out bump. So I'm going to cut down. And you don't need to cut down very far, just a little bit. And then I'm going to cut again right next to it. And just kind of pull that out there. So now there's another little notch. And then here's my next little bump out. So I'm going to cut down like that. And then cut over. And last but not least, here's my last little one. And then I'm going to cut down. And then over. Okay, so now I have 4 notches that go along the bottom. Now you want to also do it on the other side. So same thing, we would take it. So I'm just giving it like a little squeeze there. And then I'm lining up those 2 and a little squeeze there. And I'm going to turn it. Oops, I have my scissors backwards. And then I'm going to just, again, do a little cut And if it's not quite wide enough, you can kind of, there. So you want to have a notch that's maybe just about like that wide. And then I'm rotating around, there's my next little bump. Cut next to it. Pull that out. Here's my next little bump. Cut down next to it. And last but not least, my last little bump here. So I'm going to give you a few minutes. And what I want you to do is take your toilet paper tubes and go ahead and take your time and add these little notches to the top and the bottom of your tubes. And then after you do that, I will show you the next step. All right, my friends, now you should have all the little notches in your tubes. And I just wanted to show you one other thing that you could do. So if you wanted to ultimately glue down the structure that you build, another strategy that you can do is you can take a cardboard tube, and if you just go around the outside of it, and if you'll notice, I'm just making little cuts that are about the same length, and they're fairly close together. And I'm just working my way all the way around. Just have a little bit more to go. This will give your fingers a nice workout. I'm putting mine fairly close together. You don't have to put them quite this close together. Now, once you go all the way around, here's a cool thing you can, then if you push them out with your fingers like this, now you kind of have formed this little, it's actually kind of cool. It's almost like you could turn it into a flower or something, but here's the cool thing. Now you have this flat surface. So you could put some glue around where you want to stick this, and then you can stick this down, and then what it will do is it will adhere your cardboard tube to the cardboard. So we can go ahead and do that. Before we do that though, I am gonna put 4 little, whoops! Did you guys see that? I'm gonna just squeeze it there and then squeeze it there. I am gonna put 4 little notches in here so that I can add other cardboard tubes. So there's 1. 2. And it seems kind of annoying, but once you have these all prepared and ready to go, then it'll be pretty fun to build with them. Another thing that you can also do is you could take a marker or colored pencil, and maybe you want to draw windows or doors or different designs or decorations on the outside of the tube. You can also do that. Or if you really wanted to get fancy, let's say you have some paint at home, you could paint the tubes different bright colors, let them dry for a day, and then you could build with them the following day. So I'm just going to make a big circle with my glue stick right here, and then I'm just going to stick this down. And just like we always do when we glue with our glue stick, I'm just going to push it and hold it in spots until it's nice and secure. I'm seeing that it's coming up just a little bit, so I'm going to put a little bit more on the edge there too. And then just hold it maybe like 10 seconds or so, just to get it to be nice and secure down. And what you could do is, this is one, but you could secure several down and then start building with them. So now that I have my notches here in my tubes, here's the cool thing. I can start to take another tube and line up the notches. So if I want to slide this here, then I can slide that one into there and that one into there. So now I have this one little part added here. Then maybe I want to add another taller one here. So now those notches are there. And then I'm gonna keep going. Then I'm gonna line up this notch and those notches. Now those are, it's tilting a little bit. And so I'm just gonna try to, and maybe, oh, I see why it's bent a little bit. But maybe I'll try it on this outside edge instead. There, that's a little bit better. And if you're noticing that it's not going down very far, like these, although that should go, this notch is maybe, can make this notch just a little bit bigger. Make this one just a little bit bigger too. And then I'm gonna find, so here's a notch. And on this side there's a notch. There we go. Now it's a little bit more stable. So far I have this. And then you can just keep going. You can I'm gonna slide this one to that one. Then I have two next to each other. See how I'm going? So it's really kind of fun, and you can just see these two. I might have to try. There's those. And sometimes it's hard to line up the notches. This one isn't quite going in. There, we got it. So I'm going higher and higher. And oops, it's starting to lean a little bit. So you can have a lot of fun with this, and you can try and see, maybe you can join some together. You can have some coming off this side. You could have some coming off multiple sides. Like I could do, there's one on that side. And then I'm gonna put one on this side. And then what I could do is I can join these two together. Like so. And it's starting to fall over a little bit, so then I might figure out, how can I get it so I can attach this side to this side? Might need to balance it a little bit more, or I can maybe pull that off and stick it on there. So you can see how fun this is, kind of playing around with different ways to balance the tubes so that you can keep going higher. I'm gonna try to see if I can fit this. Oops, it's not working. Let me try it one more time. So this is kind of also, I'm glad this is happening because one of the fun things about doing these little STEAM exercises is that you can really experiment around. There's no right or wrong answer, and as you experiment around, you learn things. So when something doesn't work, you learn something, and when something does work, you learn something. So you just have to experiment. And I know with the friends who were trying the paper airplanes, in the video I was talking about how it's so important just to keep trying, even if something doesn't necessarily work the first time. And so another thing that I could do is, I'm just building off of this one, but what I could do is take, so I have this structure here, I could take another tube and I could fringe it like I did the last tube, so that I would have even another solid Then same thing as before, I'm gonna pull these out. Just like that, okay? And so I have this one right here, so maybe to support this, I might wanna have one right next to it, so then I can build kind of alongside of it. So I'm going to take those off, and then I'm going to glue this guy down. So same thing, can put some glue. I'm going to put some glue along these outer edges, and then I'm going to also put some glue in a circle where I want to stick it. So then I'm going to stick it right next to this other tower, and then hopefully it will help to reinforce. I'm going to kind of line it up with the notches of that other tower, so I can there, I'm going to press that there like that. Then I can, here I have my other I'm going to try to latch on to, oops, did you see how that popped up? I didn't hold it long enough, so I'm going to count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, it's still popping up just a little, so I'm going to hold it. All right, so I'll give you a few minutes. You can start building, and then I'll finish off with the in a few seconds and tell you the last steps. All right, so I just wanted to give you a kind of a little bit of a different view now that I got all the tubes put on after I glued on the second base down here. So you can see I have 2 bases, 1, 2, but if I wanted to even go higher, maybe I would suggest having like 3 or 4 bases. And you might say, what's this car here? But that was just the car from the car challenge, and I just thought, oh, maybe the car would look cool in front of my skyscraper. And another thing that you can do is, if you see, I kind of added some windows and a door. It's a little bit tricky drawing on the side of a cardboard tube, but you could even draw on it before you put it together. Here's the other cool thing about this is you can take it apart, knock it down, and then build something new all over again. So I hope you have fun this week with this building challenge. It's kind of fun. And the other cool thing is that you can integrate some of the different challenges. So you could build a really fun, tall skyscraper, and then maybe you want to create some roads going around it, and you could have cars driving around in the city. So you can add a whole bunch of fun things to this, depending on how much you would like to delve into the project. So as always, I can't wait to see what you create. I miss you so much, and I hope you have a great week.